I'm recording this at night. Any of you guys night owls? I am. So this week we're going to learn about programming, and we are going to do something called the wall maze in VEX Code VR. So here's our assignment. You can click here if you want to see. This is the VEX company came out with this particular assignment. So we're going to be looking at the wall maze and also the dynamic wall maze. There's two different simulations that you can run, and so I'll show you what that's all about. The dynamic one, it actually changes every time you reload the program and every time you run it, so you have to have a program that can do different types of mazes, different directions, so it can't just be go forward this amount, turn right, go forward. You have to have the robot actually be able to sense things and figure out what's in front of it and so forth. So those of you guys who've done some VEX stuff before will have a little bit of a leg up. So I'm going to go through the assignment requirements to begin with, and then for those of you guys who've not seen programming with VEX before, I'm going to go into some of the more finer points that you are going to need to know to be able to successfully complete this assignment. Okay, so go ahead and open up vr.vex.com, and that is the workspace. And one thing that's nice that I finally learned is you can hide these blocks that are sitting over here like that, so you don't have to have them, oh, that looks creepy, there you go, taking up space unless you actually need to be using them. So you just click that button there to hide them or make them go away. So what I want you to do is you're going to open up a playground. So click up here where it says playground. And then this link where it says activities, that's actually, it takes you to a page where all of the different VEX activities are, but I found that a lot of students aren't able to actually open these, which is why I made a copy of the wall maze so that you guys don't have to go here to get that to work. So in any case, we don't need that because you have this version of the wall maze instructions here. So this does give you some tips on how you might be able to do this. One thing that you are going to want to know about the robot, just in general, is this is a nice little overview of what parts the robot has. So you'll need to know that the robot, you don't really need the pen for this one. It doesn't really need to draw anything. You are going to need to know that it has two eyes. It has this front eye and distance sensor, so it can tell when it's a certain distance away from something. It can also tell if there's certain color objects in front of it. And the same is true for the down eye. It can tell what color is underneath it. So you can see how that would be really useful when we're doing this program. So the program is, if you click back here, there's all sorts of different mazes, and what we want is the wall maze. And now, if we're doing the wall maze, notice that every time I reset it, it looks exactly the same. But if I go to the dynamic wall maze, every time I reset it, there's a different shape to it. So that's the difference between wall maze and dynamic wall maze. Because if you're just doing wall maze, you can say, okay, go drive forward for X number of millimeters and then turn and yada yada. But the dynamic one, you actually have to understand how to get it to make decisions. So the simplest one for you guys to do, and that will count for full credit on this assignment, is to complete this maze, to be able to get the robot to go all the way through the maze and end up here at the finish line. So if you can show me your robot doing that, either record it in a short video put it on Flipgrid, or you can just record a video and put it here on Canvas. Either one is fine. But then if you want to give yourself a little bit more of a challenge, then do go to the dynamic wall maze and see if you can get a program that will allow your robot to actually go through and make decisions no matter what shape maze is there. So that's a little extra challenge for you if you are interested, if this is fun for you and you want to explore it a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to go into some more details about how to actually program in here. If you have experience with using VEX code, then you don't have to keep watching. But I want to show you these different types of commands that you can use. So this is the drivetrain. These are the drivetrain commands. So you have things like drive forward or drive forward for a certain distance. And if I drag those things out, they always have to click under when started. You always have to have things connect to that. And then we have, you can make that forward or reverse. We can also change this to inches, and we can change this to whatever amount that we want. So right now, if I wanted my robot to be able to go forward, I could have them go forward like maybe 100 millimeters or something and see where they end up. Just for reference, this basically is like an XY plane where the 0 x-axis would go straight through the middle and the 0 y-axis would go straight through the middle, and then this goes up to 1000 on all sides, so it's technically a 2000 millimeter by 2000 millimeter square. So all the way down here we're at negative 900 millimeters in the y direction, so that's 0. This goes down to negative 1000, and then we're over positive 130 millimeters in the x direction. So it's just like a regular coordinate plane. So now we can, if we want this guy to go forward for a specific distance, we can do that, but we can also have it drive forward until it gets too close to something. So I'm actually going to get rid of this, and I'm going to do some sensing. Okay, so we want to drive forward until our distance sensing has found an object or is a particular distance away from an object. Or we could even say detects red, see if that happens. And that can be your front eye or it can be your down eye. So let's just try a little until let's see, let's try something like this. Okay, so we're going to do an until. So something like this. So we're going to do drive forward, and we're going to keep doing that action. Wait until. Under sensing, our distance in millimeters is 50. And actually, I always forget this, but it's better to do something like the less than 50, because if you're waiting for something to be exactly 50, it might not ever register as exactly 50. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, and then we can have it say, after that we're going to turn right, and we can do that until, let's say, wait until, and then maybe eye sensing, front eye detects red. Let's try something like that, and then see if we can drive forward. let's just see how this bit of code works so far. So we're going to drive forward. Oh, maybe we need our distance to be something else. Let's maybe do until maybe we wait until distance found an object. Let's try that. Reset. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Oh, it actually starts to like flip over. Anyway, so it can get pretty tricky. And then if we're detecting red, then we're driving forward. So obviously that's not a good idea. So then maybe we should do if we detect, maybe we should do like an if-else sort of a thing. Let's try, there's if and else. So if our, let's see, front eye detects red, then we can maybe just, let's see, turn right 90 degrees. Let's get rid of the drive forward part too. Okay. And we'll probably also need that to repeat, so we can loop that. We can put a forever loop in here. So that'll keep going. So if the front eye detects red, then it'll turn right 90 degrees. Otherwise, it is going to drive forward, and we should probably drive forward for a certain distance, maybe for 200 millimeters. Let's just see how that does for us. Let's do that. Okay. We might be getting a little bit confused. Yeah, maybe we need to do smaller degrees. Oh, and then it can flip itself over. That's fun. Okay. So those are some different options that you guys can try out. Okay, so clearly that's not the greatest. If you're getting really frustrated with it, just go back to the regular old plain wall maze and get through there, okay? And so if you're just doing this one, then we can really just say, okay, drive forward 200 millimeters, and then turn right 90 degrees, drive forward 200 millimeters, turn left, something like that. And so then, yeah, okay, well that didn't help. I should have made it turn. Here, let's stop that, and then we can just say turn left instead, and refresh, and go. There we go, left, forward. So you can see how that's going to be a lot easier to be able to figure out. So if you would prefer to just do the plain old wall maze, if trying to do the dynamic one is just too much for you, that's okay. I also recommend going through the different tutorials. So there's lots of different tutorials on how everything works, and it'll tell you how to save your project. It'll also go over how to create your own blocks, so then you can actually design a block and have it run a particular code and then put that in, which can be really helpful. It'll teach you about driving forward and backward, turning, so there's all sorts of different practices that you can use. And then you can also go to File and open example codes. So if you're like, I just don't even understand how to do a making decision, and oh, I guess I just accidentally saved a program, but that's fine. So then this is opening a brand new program for you. And so then, and it'll show you how this program works so that you can see, okay, it's waiting until blah, 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 blah. And you can just see how that actually functions. And then it'll randomly pick a number between 20 and 180 degrees, and it'll turn that amount. And so it's kind of doing almost like a Roomba dance around. And something that's kind of fun is you can also put a little marker on there. So we can have it set, oh, not print color. They've added some more things. Set move robot pen down, and then we can set our robot color. Maybe we can set it to green, and we can have our little robot draw as it is driving around randomly. So that is a fun little thing that you could do. So those practices can help you out. But yeah, see what you can do with the wall maze, if you can create something, and then record some kind of a video to serve as evidence. If you're unable to record a video and you just need to do like screenshots or something to show me what you've created, that's also okay. Just do the best that you can, and let me know if you need some extra assistance in figuring out how all of this works, since it is so very new. But I hope that you guys enjoy this. I think it's kind of addictive. So good luck, go forth and code.